Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Today's guest joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He's hot off the press with his debut indie pop album, Junk Drawer, and you need to go listen to it right now. It's filled with so many good jams, and I can't stop listening to it. Before we start the episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow me at Parker Whirling and at onthatnote_podcast on Instagram. And on that note, please welcome Spuddy. Yeah, you are in Nashville, right?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, I'm in Athens. Have you ever been?
No way, in Georgia.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. I have a lot of friends that go to what's it called? What am I? I'm just blanking. Oh, yeah, UGA.
Yes.
And the music scene there is pretty cool. I know a couple bands that are Athens based and a couple artists. So
yeah, who? I saw we have a few mutual connections, I think. Jacob Malo.
Oh, dang. Who is that? Gosh.
He's an artist here. He's cool.
I might have met him. I know Elijah Johnston, Lighthearted.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Wonder Wild is like really great band. I know.
Do you know Tommy Troutwine?
I don't think I do.
He's in Wander Wild.
Oh, okay. Wait, is he the one that has the other band?
Well Kept.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's my roommate.
No way. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Small world.
Yeah,
and him and
that's
Elijah
awesome.
Johnson. So Elijah's in Well Kept, and
Oh.
Tommy also plays on Elijah's stuff.
Okay, I didn't even know that. That's wild. I
Yeah.
probably have so many friends that would probably know them a lot more than I do. So that's wild.
That's so funny. Yeah, small world. And what's funny is I found you through Spotify's Fresh Finds indie playlist.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Not through like mutual connections, and yet here we are.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is
Yeah,
so weird.
So I'm sitting here with Spuddy, indie pop singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer, based in Nashville. The new album is amazing. It's called Junk Drawer. Came out July 29th. Like I said, I heard your song, The Hopeful Kind, on Spotify's Fresh Finds indie playlist, and it's so sick. Like,
Dude,
as soon as I heard it, yeah, like sun-soaked jams, super groovy. All the tunes are great, especially that one, Best of the Best, Superficial Days.
Thank you.
So as soon as I heard that one, I went and checked the rest of your stuff and loved it, and
That's so
excited
kind.
that you're here with me today, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is awesome. I've never really done anything like this, so this is just fun for me to talk about what I made. So
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I wanted to start it, was to be able to talk to a lot of people who maybe like yourself haven't really gotten as much exposure as, they should. And
Yeah.
I heard your songs. It was like this, I need to know about the creative process behind it.
yeah,
One of the first thoughts I had after finishing the album was that the whole thing was so cohesive.
Mhm.
And it got me
Thank you.
wondering if there were any songs that you loved that you didn't put on the project because you didn't feel like it served the album.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm like kind of have a weird creative process, and I guess like there really weren't any songs that didn't make it. Like I kind of just took my time with each one, and then once I had like the 6 or I guess 7 songs technically like all together, I was just like, these are the 6. I'm not making any more. I'm not making any less. Like these are the ones that are going on. So yeah, I didn't really have any more. I just kind of like went song by song, and once I had all of them, I was just like, these all make sense together, and then just kind of paused and put it out from there. So
I feel
Yeah.
the same way. I think it's amazing when people they're like, oh man, I had 50 songs to choose from. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? How do you have that
yeah,
much time?
it's dude, it's crazy. I mean, here in Nashville too, like there's so many amazing songwriters. I know so many amazing people that write songs so well, and like some people I know just will have like over 100 songs to choose from that they've just like written for an EP, and I'm like, I wrote 6, and those 6 are going on, and like I wish I could choose from so many, but I mean, yeah, it's pretty minimal for me for sure.
That's hard for me to process. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like when you're making these songs, I'm sure there's been times where you start out a song and like within a few minutes or an hour or so, you're like, nah, this isn't going the way I hoped.
Yeah.
Is that how
Definitely.
it goes sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. It's really hard for me to kind of get off the ground sometimes. I kind of like I less write songs on like acoustic or piano or something like that. I usually start them like in Logic with like an instrumental or something, just because I'm kind of a producer before I am a songwriter. So I'll usually come up with some sort of like idea or some sort of, I don't know, like a track first, and then kind of write to the track. So in that sense, it is kind of a lot harder to get off the ground, I guess, in a way. So
yeah, that's how I used to start all of my projects. And what's great about it is that from the get-go, you have a pretty solid idea of what the song is,
right,
instrumentally.
right.
But
Right.
the downside can be it's hard to change it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I feel that it's like weird going backwards, because I like I said, I know so many people that write amazing songs, and a lot of the people I know will start songs on an acoustic guitar, and I wish I could do that, but I don't know, I'm just so naturally drawn to like writing over an instrumental. But yeah, that's a great point. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So do you use Logic?
Yeah,
said?
I do use Logic.
Logic's the way to go in my eyes as
Oh
well.
yeah,
It's just user friendly. I was just having this conversation with a friend today who put out an EP and all she used was Audacity. I was like, whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I could not. That's like, hold on, sorry, that's crazy. I think that was kind of the first experience I kind of had with like recording audio. And my dad showed me that like a while back, like way back in like middle school or something. And I was like, wow, you can record your voice into something. But I mean, I don't know how I could ever do like an entire project in Audacity. That's wild.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it when she told me that. But I'm like, maybe just try like GarageBand next time.
Yeah.
GarageBand, like people sleep on GarageBand. There's a
It
lot
gets
you
it
can
done.
do on it.
Gets the job done for sure.
It gets it done, yeah. I wanted to ask about the fact that you did self-release this, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? What kind of, what should an artist who's about to release their first project expect when they're going through this kind of experience of releasing this on their own?
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to be negative, but also I just want to be realistic and say, like, don't expect the world. Don't expect anything crazy. Just like really internalize and be proud of like what you've made. And like I don't know. I'm a firm believer in like really valuing your own art regardless of the reaction to it and what other people think, and that's definitely easier said than done. But like for someone doing it for the first time, I think just being proud of it and completely, closing your eyes to all the results and the reaction you get is probably healthy. I mean, like it's great to receive praise and compliments and all that, and it's amazing, but it's like it's just easier to I don't know, I think it's better to be proud of it and not be attached to the reaction and the response, because you go down a slippery slope there, and I've been there before, just like valuing, like placing the value of my music in other people's hands, or like I don't know, comparing it to the music around me, and it's just like you just gotta love what you make. Like if you are enjoying what you make, really embrace that, especially when you're putting something out for the first time.
Very well said. That's also, like you said, much easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely.
When we have tools like Spotify for artists, where they'll tell you every day how many streams you got, and you're like, you can go check and see.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even get me started on Spotify for artists. That is like, it is such a death trap, and I still fall into it every once in a while. But it's like I've been at points where I'm, looking at Spotify for artists like every day, just trying to get just like that little boost of serotonin. And then it's like when you see that line going down, it's just like, oh man, it's just like the worst feeling. For me, it makes me just like want to work more and put something out, which I guess is a good thing, but also I don't want a good thing to come from a bad thing. Like that's just, it's not great waking up every day and checking Spotify for artists and then somehow being driven by that, I guess. But yeah,
that's a great point. I mean, like anything, it can be used as a tool, as a way to see what song is getting the most traction, and then you can think about why that's the case. It's nice to see if you do get a certain amount of playlists, with what you're getting on, what artists are on those playlists. So you can see who you're getting kind of looped in with. But at the same time, it is a tool, and that tool is very addicting.
Absolutely. It's very dangerous.
We'll assign our worth simply to that, that graph, and it's tough to get away from. Yeah,
dude, agreed. It's crazy. It's a crazy time we live in.
Do you have a favorite part of the creation process, whether that be writing or recording or mixing or even the actual releasing phase?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think my favorite part, and sometimes I have a lot of trouble like skipping ahead to this part, I guess, in a way, but I really enjoy like the small details of production that come at like the very end of just kind of like not polishing a track, but almost like right before that, where I try to like kind of fill in gaps in songs. And I think if like that was my voice crack. If you like listen through Junk Drawer and like kind of have in mind like small details, I think you can kind of find a few things that I like threw in different places that just kind of fill in gaps. I love like filling in gaps, which is also kind of a good thing and a bad thing because sometimes songs need space. But naturally, I love to, like, once I'm kind of done with the structure and the arrangement and some of the mixing of a song, I'll love to go back and just, like, throw little, like, I don't know, like beeps and boops here and there. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, small little, like, ear candies that, like, kind of fill in the space, like I'm saying. That's probably my favorite thing to do. I have, right here, I have a OP1, and it's just like the best tool to just do exactly what I'm describing, and just like sample yourself and then like throw that in like reverbed in the background or something like that, just to, I don't know, make a cool little moment. But that's definitely my favorite thing, just like the small stuff.
Yeah, that is always fun when, it's one thing to lay the guitar track down or the keys or whatever, but they say God is in the details, those tiny little things that really make a song feel like you as opposed to any other song. We all, as songwriters, are kind of just repeating things that have been done and rearranging things in a certain way that feel slightly different than what's been done before. But the real character comes in once you're adding those little beeps and those boops that feel like you. There was one thing, I can't remember for the life of me right now, in one of your songs where there's like this moment of silence, but there's like this little reversed vocal thing, like almost buried in the mix. I'll have to go back and figure out what it was, but that really stuck out to me. I'm like, this could have been nothing, and instead there was just this, and maybe it wasn't reversed, but it had a weird texture to it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's like a perfect example of what I'm referring to, just like one little thing that somebody like you might notice or pick up on that's just like, oh, that was a nice, like, pleasing thing to fill in the gap right there while I'm not singing something. So
yeah. And the other, while we're talking about parts I loved about your project, the breakdown / pre-chorus part of Superficial Days, just when I heard that for the first time, I was like, yo, it just hits a certain way. Something about the groove changes, and I can't remember. It's like everything gets fast all of a sudden, even though the tempo doesn't change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of like an upbeat thing there. Are you talking about, it's kind of like maybe like halfway through the song or kind of like a little later in?
It was right before the chorus.
Yes.
And it kind of gave me a 1975 feel.
Yep. That is very accurate to like what I was probably referencing, because that is just like, I don't know if this is probably a later question, but that's just like, that's it for me. 1975 above all else for influence wise, and as a fan, that's like my favorite band of all time, and I'm constantly like trying to go back and be like, how did they do that? How did they do that? Because they really don't reveal like a lot of production things, but yeah, that song specifically too is very much like 1975-esque.
Have you ever listened to Tape Notes podcast?
Yes, dude. That I have listened to that one episode with them like multiple times through, just to hear like all the stems that they play and just like the solo, because there's like nothing else on the entire internet. I mean, there's a few things that I've like found of them like talking about production tips and stuff, but that one episode is just like so in depth. It's so good.
I was gonna say, here I was thinking that I was gonna introduce this like new thing to you, and man, you've seen it 6 times.
I would have lost it if like you would have told me about that, and I would have gone and discovered it after this. Like, gosh, I remember when I discovered it, I was like, yo.
It's so cool that they show the demos, and then even their demos are like 90% there.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy, and it's like almost. I don't even know. It's just like hearing about their process was kind of reassuring to mine, just because like I was talking about earlier, I feel like so many people start songs pretty traditionally, like on an instrument, and they were talking about like starting songs on the bus a lot, on the road, and like a bunch of their songs were just started on a laptop, and George would just do stuff like within Logic and start there, and then like they'd write over that, which was like so cool to me. So
yeah, they got something special going on.
Yeah,
I like to claim them as my hipster band, where to me, I liked them before anybody I knew.
Oh wow, really?
I was a junior in high school, so that's pretty 2014, solid. I think.
Oh, dang.
Like their album wasn't out yet. They had only put out the EP.
That's solid. That's like impressive.
My friends made fun of me for liking them. They thought I was like going through an emo phase or whatever.
That's awesome.
And I got to see them open for The Neighborhood.
No way. That's crazy. Was it in Athens?
It was in Atlanta.
Oh, wow. That's
so
amazing.
I grew up in Atlanta, and it was at Center Stage. I don't know if you know Center Stage.
I've heard of it. That's amazing. That was probably such a like small. Well, I guess how small was that show?
Well, Center Stage has 3 different stages. So they did play in the biggest one, but I mean, there's no more than, I can't imagine more than 300 people there.
Oh, that's so crazy.
And almost none of them knew their songs. They knew they were there for The Neighborhood.
So awesome. I would do anything to be there. I kind of like, I unfortunately cannot say the same thing about them. Like I'm definitely, I would consider myself a huge fan, like all the way, but I haven't been a huge fan for that long. Like I even remember like when I was in high school, which was I guess when Brief Inquiry came out, that was like 4 years ago. So I was like a sophomore in high school, a sophomore in high school. And like one of my best friends kept listening to it, and he was like a huge 1975 fan, and I hated it. Like literally just 4 years ago, I was like, this is so weird. Like I don't understand it. It's so like abrasive, and I don't like, at the time I was like, that was just not what I was listening to. And then honestly, probably like two-ish years ago. I mean, like I'm pretty fresh. I hate to admit it, but like
that's cool.
I'm very fresh to the like Nothing on You. I mean, what is that, like almost 10 years ago, almost a decade. I guess 9 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. That makes me feel old.
Oh, no. Gosh.
But no, I mean, what's funny though is for me, my love for them has, not that I don't always love them, but their newest 2 projects I wasn't like super stoked about. I loved their first 2 albums. And then I liked singles from A Brief Inquiry, and then a couple singles from Notes from Attachment, or what is it called?
Notes on a Conditional Form.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like my love has gone down a little bit over the years.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new stuff?
Dude, well, that's pretty funny, because I wouldn't say I'm like directly opposite, but definitely the latest two albums are like way above the first two for me. And that's probably just because like you've listened to them for so long that it's just like, I don't even know, the progression was probably just kind of shocking over a long time. But being like more of a recent fan, I've just been like incredibly influenced by Brief Inquiry and Notes, both of them. I mean, like Notes is so long and so all over the place. Dude. It's like I think it's like 22 songs, and it's just like every other song could just be something totally different. Like, you know, you could go from like a Pine Grove sounding thing to like to People to like some glitchy, I don't even know, but I don't know. I think there's
it literally went from like People to like an orchestral.
Yes, and
it's what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a little crazy for sure. I think Brief Inquiry is definitely my number one, but I definitely admire just like by the fourth album, I admire the mindset to just like try anything and try everything. Yeah. Once you have such a dedicated fan base, it's like, let's just do whatever this time. Like, let's do what we've always wanted to do. And I'd love to get to that place someday. So,
dude, yeah, I mean, it's cool to be able to do so many different things. I'll never, hate on a band for trying something different. Like, that's how I feel about them. I do love their first two albums, but I don't feel like, I'm not mad that they tried something different. I think it's great. I wish it was a little more cohesive, maybe.
Right, definitely.
But I'd much rather see somebody change than stay the same to like try to keep a fan base or something.
Right,
you know?
Sure, definitely. Agreed. It's very bold and very, very respectable, I think.
I liked part of the band. I don't know how I feel about the other two.
Really?
I already forgot what they're called. I'm in Love with You, and then
In Happiness.
Happiness.
I gotta say, I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like a sucker for whatever they put out. So like all three I've just loved, and like I've told people that like are not as into it, I'm just like, I totally understand. Like if you're not into it, I'm just like, I think I'm extremely biased at this point. Like I don't think I could dislike anything.
Just hook an IV up. Inject it into your veins.
Honestly, yeah. It's crazy.
So moving on from the 1975, you've only have a debut album, but it does feel like your sound is very solidified within that album.
Wow.
Where do you see yourself going in the future?
Oh man. Yeah, that's really kind. I feel like I was kind of trying to very much make a cohesive thing. And I guess in the future, I've been working on and listening to a lot of things that really don't sound like what I just put out. A lot more kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Kind of, I guess more loose and experimental kind of things. Less like, I don't know how to describe it. Less structured and like, you know, there's all kinds of specific things like to a grid or drums right to a grid or like really clean sounds. Just kind of been listening to a lot of different things. So I honestly don't know. I've kind of been throwing a lot of ideas into Logic in the past like month and a half, even like 2 months. I've been kind of just trying a lot of different things. So I guess we'll see. I couldn't really tell you. I'm just kind of gonna keep combining some things and figure out what I like. But it's hard too, because like I want to keep, you know, sort of a cohesive sound and sort of a I don't like the word brand, but kind of like a brand and a feeling and a look, and I want to keep that going, but also never want to make the same thing twice. So I guess that's the best way I could describe it.
It's kind of a balancing act trying to do that.
Definitely.
Do you have a song on this album that you're most proud of?
Oh, gosh, I'm honestly, I mean, there have been times when I'm like, all of these are terrible, and I really,
of course,
and like hate all of them. And then there's been times when I'm just like, I'm really proud of all of these. And at this point, like having it out and just kind of having people react to it over the past, I guess, 2-3 months now. It's kind of like settled in that I'm a lot more proud of it now than I kind of was when I was putting it out. But I would probably say Superficial Days specifically, just like was really proud of, I guess, like the arrangement, and that was like the last song I worked on for it. And I worked on this whole project over the span of a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. So like during that year and a half, I think a lot of like my influence and kind of direction was shifting a lot, and I was still trying to tie everything together, but also kind of make some different ideas. And so Superficial Days was like the very last one that was kind of, I was just kind of trying to do whatever I could think of to fill any space in that song. Like everything, I just wanted it to be like a completely different feeling at every, 5-second mark, honestly. So very proud of that one.
That's cool, man. It stood out to me. I mean, they all, like I said, it all feels cohesive, and it didn't stand out in a way to me where it's like, whoa, this song came out of nowhere. It just felt
right.
like, this is a new flavor of this album that me particularly, I think I gravitated to the most. And it really was that pre-chorus breakdown with the guitar picking. Like, dude, that shit was awesome.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, like all the, the 4 other songs. No, wait, 5 other songs. Dude, I do not know my own project that well. Pretty much all the other songs were worked on like way, way before that one. And that one came very much like at a much later time, very separated, because I was trying to get like one final song down because I knew I wanted to do 6. I ended up doing technically 7, like an intro thing. But I wanted to do 6 solid songs, and that one was like reworked, and it was like this song, and then finally I kind of came to that one. So yeah, it definitely was like a very separate thing. Thankfully, I think it ties in just enough. So
it does. And do you do all this from your bedroom?
I do. I've kind of had a couple different spaces. I guess when I first started this, I was in an apartment. This was, everything in Nashville. I was in like this apartment. That's where most of it was made. And then a little bit of it was made in this garage that we have at the house I live at right now. And then, currently I'm in the bedroom. So kind of like a few different spaces. So mainly the apartment.
I'm always impressed by that DIY ethos of just being able to do everything that you want within a certain space. And that's how I started. And I've kind of since branched out to try to like work with producers in a space. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that works best for me personally, but I think it's really impressive when somebody can do so much with so little, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Thank you, dude. I was like, this is reminding me just of this interview I was watching with Jack Antonoff like a couple days ago. He was talking about, what was he talking about? Oh, I guess like his album from 2017, Gone Now. And he was just like, I mean, he's like, obviously one of the greatest of all time and one of the biggest producers in the world right now. But he was like, I didn't need to rent out some crazy huge studio or go somewhere or like Electrical Lady or anything like that. He was just like, I did it all from my house, because he was like, why would you not try to record and make music like from where you live? Like, it's so personal. And so he was just like really advocating for like doing things, like in your room or somewhere in your house where you mainly spend most of your time, which I thought was really interesting and very applicable to like today's, bedroom producer climate, I guess.
Totally. And I never really thought about it until you just said that, but it seems like not only is it personal on an emotional level because you're there all the time and you're doing it in this space, but it's also personal on a sound quality level.
Right.
Because you're listening to it through whatever speakers you have, through whatever means you're using, whatever, treated or not sound treated room you're listening in. And his production, at least on his new album, new-ish. It came out a year ago. I mean, the production, whether you like it or not, the mixing and all that, it's definitely unique.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It sounds very personal. It's like very unique, and I guess just like who he is as a producer, especially listening to like what he's done in the past. It's like you can definitely hear, like that unique quality and that very like homegrown, I guess, sound and influence there.
Yeah, Jack Antonoff is the man. Shout out to Jack.
Oh, shout out Jack if you're watching.
Yeah,
hit a goat, man. Yeah.
Well, I would be remiss to go to the last 5 without bringing up What Makes You Believe In and Levitating Alabama. And
oh man! Wow,
Heaven.
I just for a second I was like, wait, what is he talking about?
I'm talking about the mashups.
Oh man,
dude.
yes. Oh gosh, yeah, the mashups.
I feel like Nardwuar right now, busting that out.
That's like, what do you have to say about What Makes You Believe?
Your mother went to this elementary school.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's funny that you're bringing that up. I never really I kind of forget about that that stuff every once in a while. I haven't really done a mashup in a while.
Where did that come from? What inspired you to make some mashups?
That was, let's see, January of 2021. So almost like 2 years ago. I was freshman in college, and Olivia Rodrigo had just scored big with Driver's License. Everybody was talking about it, and man, I don't remember. I was just like, I don't want to sound like this is not sounding like a pretentious like musician. I do not have perfect pitch, but I, for some reason, have always had like the note B flat memorized, just because Bohemian Rhapsody was like my favorite song up until like 5th grade. And I heard it so many times, and I just like, that song is like ingrained in my brain, and I know for sure it's in B flat. And I remember listening to Driver's License one day, and I was like, this is in B flat too. And one day after class, I was just like, wonder what would happen if I put them together. I found the instrumental on YouTube. I put them together, and I was like, this is funny. Oh, I guess this is like very, very TikTok, but whatever. I had like 5 followers, and then I put it up, went to the caf, and showed a couple people in our cafeteria, and I was like, look how crazy this is. It fits so well. And they were like, oh, that's funny. And then I don't even know. Like, I don't want to sound like the classic, like, yeah, overnight I woke up and next day it was blah, blah. But that's like kind of what happened. It was just like 1 million, and then like 2 million, and then like 3 million. And it just kept going. And I was like, what in the world? And I did another one, and that one did well. And I did another one, and that one did well. And I started like having this formula of like finding the most popular songs at the time, and then trying to find something at least before the 2000s, like some throwback, and then just putting them together. And every time it's worked. Like I don't know what it is, but like, I guess TikTok just likes that format, and I never change it. It's always like a video of me. I mean, if you watch any of them, it's the same thing every time, and it always works. It's so dumb, but I don't know. It's been weird, because sometimes I'm like, do I need to like make another one? Like, do I need to keep going? Is it like my thing? But I don't want that to be my thing. I just want to like keep doing music and stuff. I don't want to be known as like some mashup guy. Right. And hopefully there's nobody out there that like thinks that. Maybe there probably is, but I don't want to think about that. I do not want to be known as like, oh, it's the mashup guy. Like, no, but it's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I knew your music before I saw that, and was
sweet.
Like, whoa,
yes,
what the hell?
Let's go.
Yeah. So one point for that side. But
nice.
I'm sure, the good thing is, I'm so bad at TikTok and all that shit. But like, the good thing is, people, even if they follow you for that stuff, your music, even though to you is more important, to other people, they might come for that one thing and then stay for the music. You know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. I've kind of like, that's been the main drive behind why I continue to do them, is because I'm like, whatever happens, like, these are people that are just like following and at least paying attention in some format. So like, maybe every once in a while I'll just like, do a different thing and like try to promote a song. And I've done that a couple times, and they do okay. It's still, TikTok is it's just so weird. Like, it loves certain things and it pushes certain things, and then you try to promote your music and it's like, whatever. But I think with I think the biggest mashup I did was like Adele and Bruno Mars. Yeah, Easy on Heaven. I think you mentioned that one.
Yeah.
But I think that was the biggest one, and everybody in the comments, like every time, they're always like, "Can we get the full thing? Can we get the full thing?" And I literally had the first Spuddy single about to release. It was like 3 weeks out, and I was like, I made another video, and I was like, everybody who pre-saves this, like, I need, what did I say? I was like, I think I said a number. I was like, just everybody go pre-save it, and then maybe I'll put out the full version. And it worked, and I got like 500 pre-saves or something. It was like a lot of people that just like,
holy shit,
just random people just like did not know anything about my artist project, just went and pre-saved. And that was like great to have all that just from the start of not releasing anything. And then I put it on YouTube just to make it right and give the people what they wanted. But
give the people what they want.
It's crazy,
dude. That's amazing that they came together to
to
get that.
It was wild. There was this one girl, I did not know who she was. My sister did, because my sister always watches. I watch the Olympics pretty much not every year. What is it, like every 4 years, every 2 years? Whenever the Olympics is on, I usually watch it. But I guess there was like this gymnast. I don't remember
Simone
her name.
Biles.
No, but it was like one of her teammates, one of the other ones on the USA female gymnastics team, and she was like, she had a bunch of TikTok followers, and she like commented like, everybody go pre-save the song, and like I think that
wow.
I think that did a lot, so it was funny.
So now you're a big USA gymnastics fan.
Yes, I'm like, let's go for gold.
Go USA.
Yeah,
that's so funny, man. Well,
yeah,
whatever works, dude. Whatever works. Get your get those
yeah,
pre-saves.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's gonna take us over to the last 5, where I'm just gonna ask you 5 quick questions, and we'll be done. Number 1, in the studio or playing live?
Ooh. In the studio.
Yeah.
For sure. In the studio.
I would have guessed, since you kind of do it all yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, are you saying, is the question like,
which do you prefer?
Which do I prefer? I mean, yeah, definitely in the studio. I think I've done a few live Spuddy shows, and they're tons of fun. But sometimes a lot of stress, and I just love being by myself, being as loud as I want, as quiet as I want in here. Nobody's watching. I can just make whatever sounds I need to and not have the pressure of playing live. So
there's definitely not as much pressure. It's only like your own pressure.
Right.
Question number 2, what do you think is a perfect album front to back?
Ooh.
You can name a few.
Okay. I don't want to be like cliche. I mean, the first thing that comes to my head is Abbey Road, but that's just like,
that's a
everybody
great
knows
answer.
That Sgt. Pepper's and Abbey Road. Everybody knows those are whatever. That's so cringe.
They're cliche
cliche
for a reason.
Yes, for a reason. Yeah, you can't doubt that. Those are absolutely perfect front to back in my mind. I would also say, I guess like way more specifically, I think for me, 2020 by Joe is
yes, dude,
flawless.
Joe,
Flawless front to back. Like it's just so cohesive. It like sucks you into another dimension every time I listen to it. I'm like, this all makes so much sense, I guess. And then I guess I could say Brief Inquiry for me personally. It's my front to back. But if anybody's watching and needs something new, like, just go listen to 2020. It's unbelievable,
dude. What do you think of the new songs?
I could not say enough great things. I think they're
amazing.
Mind-boggling. They're phenomenal, especially the one that just came out. I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it's doing
Half-Life.
Like, yes, it's like doing the 80s thing so well, but also like just still like that psych element is there, and it just feels so big, and the tempo, or not the tempo change, there's like some crazy drum switch at the end. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because I listened to those other 3, Gloom and
Yeah. Those were all Change and
well, yeah. What's the? Oh my God, that one's my favorite. I'm blanking right now.
I don't forget.
No. I'm just gonna look it up on Spotify. I can't take it.
Yeah, it's gonna bug me. Wait,
because it's literally like the one is my favorite. Here we go. Figure You Out.
Yeah, that one's sweet.
Figure You Out. The end is like always puts me in a different dimension.
So cool.
When he starts going to the falsetto.
Yes.
And then it starts going up like half a step for the last couple measures. And then Gloom, of course, is sick. Very like Talking Heads.
Yes, dude.
But I gotta say, Half-Life's the one that hasn't clicked for me yet. I like
really?
it. I like it, but I'm like, to me, the different parts are so different that I'm like,
that's
confused.
fair. That's fair.
I'm just confused when it gets to the next part.
That's totally fair. Especially like the verses are just like totally different, like not vibes, but kind of like ideas. I totally feel that. For some reason, like right when I listened to it, I was like, whoa, this is just unbelievable. But also before we move on, I'm looking at my saved albums real quick. Father of the Bride, Vampire Weekend is just it is so long, so many songs on there, but like still I think it's like just incredible front to back.
That's one that I listened to when it came out because I've been a Vampire Weekend fan, but I haven't found myself going back to it.
Really?
I like the hits. But I don't even remember the names because it's been so long.
Yeah. Oh, and Currents, Tame Impala, that's just a classic, but also like
totally.
I've been revisiting that in the past like couple months. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm ready for him to put out a new album that
me too.
Isn't the Minions soundtrack.
yeah, exactly. Although that was pretty cool. It was all right. I mean, I was like,
it was interesting.
It was
that
fine.
He did that.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
He's getting the bag. It's okay.
Yeah,
you get it, Kevin.
Yeah,
he's got a kid now, so
yeah,
you got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Question number 3 is: who's your dream artist or producer to work with?
Ooh, man, I think the answer to this has changed throughout time. I would say like, oh man, hold on. I have a note in my notes that is all like my influential producers. Let me see. Or maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. I mean, I would definitely say George Daniel right off the bat. Just amazing, and like honestly kind of carries the 1975 on his back sometimes.
Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah, definitely George Daniel. I don't know if you know Ethan Gruska or Gruska. I never know how to say it. He's just incredible producer and behind a lot of Phoebe's stuff and a lot of just things here and there. But his solo work is unbelievable. And then those are the two big ones. And I guess Jack Antonoff, like we've been talking about, and I would love to see like what he does, like his process and what he could bring to a Spuddy song. Like that would just be so wild. So
those are great answers. And what's funny is at some point while you were talking, I thought of Jack Antonoff for the dream artist thing because I try to guess like, who could they work with? And I thought I was like, I forgot. And I wrote it down, and then like 5 seconds later, you said his name, and I was like, oh, there you go.
That's awesome. There you go.
The other person I thought of was Dayglow.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's like, I mean, that was kind of what made me start making music. Like from 2018 on, I was just like, this is the kind of music I want to make. And I've kind of at this point kind of moved. I'm kind of moving in a different direction after. I mean, this EP is very, very Dayglow inspired, but he kind of like made me want to start making music. So,
dude, he's the man. He seems like such a cool dude.
Yeah,
he puts out all those like How I Made whatever.
Yes,
songs,
dude,
or videos.
So I think those like really taught me a lot about Logic. Honestly, like during quarantine, I think he was putting those out, and I was just like. I was learning so much. I actually, when he came to Nashville, kind of like hung out after the show and got to talk to him for a second and like literally told him that to his face. I was like, dude, like your breakdown videos like really taught me a lot about like all the Logic stock plugins and like kind of shifted my production like journey.
So you got to talk to him?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
And it was really crazy. I mean, I grew up in a town that's probably like 2 or 3 hours from where he grew up, and so we were kind of bonding over Texas, and just like because he went to UT, and I had a lot of friends that went to UT in Austin, and we had like a lot of mutual friends, which was kind of crazy, just because Texas is like
That's
massive,
so funny.
but sometimes feels so small. So
How did you get to talk to him? Was it just sneaking around back after the show?
Yeah, pretty much. We were just like, me and 2 of my friends, we were just like, huge fans. Didn't want to act like it, but we're definitely huge fans, and we were just kind of like chilling back there with some other people, and then he kind of just came out. We were just kind of talking to him, and then one of our friends in Nashville, who's a photographer, shot a couple of their shows. His name's Gabe Dreschler, and he like did a couple things with the crew, and so he was there, and we were all just kind of like talking. So it was really cool. And like you said, he's really cool guy.
He seems so nice.
Yeah,
down
so
to
genuine.
earth,
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody whose music really feels like him. I mean,
yeah,
what do I know? I don't know him, but he just, from what I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. Anybody can like tell that without even like knowing him, which is so sick. I like strive for that for sure.
And my roommate Tommy, Well Kept, his band, they opened for him one day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was
That's
such
awesome.
a random thing because I think it was because Wander Wild was going to, and
oh, no way,
somebody got sick, they couldn't do it or something, and then they hit him up to do it.
That's like, so awesome. That's great.
It's like, dude, wow, that's like, I don't know, that's crazy for me. I don't know how many people.
Yeah,
Dayglow really blown up nowadays.
It's unreal how big he is now. I'm like,
I
think he's almost like 10 million monthly, which is just like what? Like that's so much more than really, really big artists that I think of in my mind. Right. And I'll like look at his numbers. And I'm just like just numbers wise, it's pretty incredible.
To me, I don't know why I still think of him as like
an
underground artist, but you see videos of him playing like at festivals, and there's so many.
Just
people
like what? There. Yeah, it's crazy.
But he deserves it. His music's
absolutely
great.
Yeah.
All right, question number 4. What's on your musical rotation right now?
Ooh, good question. I like this. I have a currently playing playlist that I can just kind of go through. Of course, the latest 1975.
Of course.
I don't know if you know Brother Kinsey, but his latest record that he just put out is really cool. It's like one of the Hippocampus guys does solo stuff. Cool. That's really cool. There's this artist in Nashville called Louis Prince, and he is phenomenal. Let's see. Ginger Root. I don't know if you know Ginger Root, but he just put out a little project, and oh gosh, my light keeps turning off here. Ginger Root's newest thing is really cool. I've been listening to a lot of Bon Iver recently, just like going through it all and just listening to just like textural things and being influenced by that.
That was I've said it a million times on this podcast, but I saw him play live like in April.
Oh man,
Bon Iver, and it was
so good.
A transcendental experience.
Oh, I bet, man. Was that with Dijon, or was that just?
Yes, it was with Dijon, and it fucking slapped.
Dude, I don't know why I didn't buy. Like, I remember the day. that tour was announced, and I was like, wow, what a combo. Like, that's gonna be so great. Like, I can't wait to get a ticket and go. And I just didn't. Dude, I don't know why. Like. Both Nashville, or I guess maybe it was one Nashville night, just like sold out, and I was like, wait, what? Why did I not? I don't know. It's like one of my biggest regrets. Like if I could go back in time, I would go to that show because I just know like.
Well, now I feel bad saying
that. Making me feel terrible.
Yeah, dude, it sucked. It was terrible. You save your money.
I bet it was. Yeah, I bet it was garbage.
Totally.
And then, I think that's a nice run through.
What was that last one you said?
I guess
not Brother Kinsey, the one after that.
Brother Kinsey said Ginger Root.
Louis
Prince. You need to check out Louis Prince. He is phenomenal.
Is
But,
it Louis?
Louis, yeah.
Okay.
He's really great. He's like, his music, it just sounds so polished and huge, and it's just like, he's really not that big, but like just kind
He's
of
in Nashville?
yeah, kind of like a locally known, like mysterious legend, I would say. I don't know. I think his stuff is so cool.
Cool. Yeah, I got him queued up for once we're done here. I'll check him out.
Awesome.
All right. Last question here.
All right.
What's your favorite decade of music?
Ooh. 80s. Gotta say it. I mean,
Yeah.
like that. This is like what I grew up on. And that's just like, that's a big part of it. That's just because like what I grew up on, and very much like synth wise, I just think that was just like a beautiful, like time of pioneering electronic instruments. And it's just like that transition period of people discovering like, things like a Lindrum, or like, obviously the Juno or DX7 or things like that becoming popular. Even though like a ton of it is just so cheesy and like didn't really age well, but then a lot of it is just like people are still trying to do things I feel like that people were doing in the 80s. It's really, coming back in subtle ways and being reworked. I don't know. I think that was just like a really cool time for music, like important, but also just like, I don't know, awesome, really awesome.
Yeah. People who love the 80s really go hard for the 80s.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, every once in a while I'll get some pushback on that, and people are just like, it's so corny. Like, how could you love the 80s that much? I'm just like, I don't know. I love the cheesiness. I think it's like, honestly, like silly sometimes how some of these songs sound, and obviously like the lyrics can be like just bonkers, but I think like sound wise there was a lot of amazing like improvements and kind of a revolution happening with electronic components, because like the 70s it was just like, I don't know, it was awesome. And there were like, I guess I need to learn more. I guess some synths like taking shape, and like Moog and stuff was kind of taking off, but it was still more like, I guess piano and organ were very prominent, and then all of a sudden it was just like synthesizers, and it's just like
Synth City.
Yeah, so wild. But
see, that's why I like the 70s, is because it became a mashup between all the 60s songwriting and all of that, and some of the production of the 80s without it getting too out of hand.
Yes. I would, I mean, right behind the 80s, I would say the 70s too. It's just, I like, same thing for me. I think it's such a cool, like, transition period of, like, I don't know, it's just like a beautiful transition period of very organic, traditional elements, and then just like a little bit of, like you said, like, experimentation and things.
Right.
So.
It's like they're getting weird enough, but they haven't gotten too crazy yet.
Yes, exactly.
But, to each their own. Everybody, you can make a case for and against any decade. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you though, what do you think the worst decade of music is?
Ooh, see, I've started to think that's what I should ask.
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a more fun question. So you're gonna kill me because I'm probably gonna say the 80s. Only because, but here's the thing, I could be wrong. I just think about it because of the hair metal.
Yeah, okay.
The hair metal really like turns me off.
There's a lot going on in a lot of different areas, and yeah, I can see that. For me, like instantly, and you might disagree with this, instantly I'm just like 2000s. I think it's so
that was gonna be my second one. I think
there's so much that was coming out of the 2000s. It's like, this is so bad. It's just bad. I don't know. I think kind of objectively bad sometimes. I think probably pretty controversial, but
I think like 2005 on got better.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I think the first half of the 2000s was a little rough.
Yes, I would definitely agree. Because like after 2005, things kind of start to take shape, and like you have, I don't know, you have like Kanye coming in and like pop really taking a different direction. But before that, it's like, I don't even know, just NSYNC and like
In
Britney
sync.
Spears and
Yeah.
I don't even.
See, that's the tricky thing about this question is you can, as soon as I say that, I'm like, 2000s, one of my favorite probably my favorite album ever is In Rainbows by Radiohead, and that came out 2007.
7, yeah.
Kid A came out in 2000. And I'm
Right,
like, okay,
yeah.
so am I just gonna immediately say this to see we're part of a garbage
Yeah,
era?
that's hard. That's hard for sure. I think in any era too, you can find things that were like phenomenal, and then a lot of
100%.
things that are just like, that's garbage.
Yeah, for me personally, there's only been a handful of 80s albums that I really can't even name them off the top of my head that I gravitate towards.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, like, I think even me saying the 80s is my favorite, I still, album-wise, not super strong. Like, a ton of, like, just songs I can think of that are, like, I love, like, just singles, and maybe not even singles. They're probably just, like, hits off of huge albums. I mean, you have, like, Thriller,
right.
Maybe all I can think of right now. But, like, everybody remembers songs from the 80s, and then albums are,
Yeah, that's a good point.
different thing.
It seems
Exactly. Who can think of an album from the 80s? Like, other than Michael Jackson or maybe Prince. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Prince, true. That's true. Purple Rain.
Purple Rain's big.
But yeah, Kate Bush, Hounds of Love.
Yeah.
That album is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. To me, there's few to choose from. Obviously, we weren't from that era.
Yeah.
But, people forget 2010s is an answer for best or worst.
That's true. That's true. It feels so recent, but also so, like, important and nostalgic, and also, so many things. I always forget.
I think that's
just, like, 2 years
honestly
out.
my answer, but it's probably the emotional attachment as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like the nostalgic element of, kind of growing up in that time.
Being back in high school or middle school or whatever. Yeah, it's hard to separate that. But
absolutely.
I think what's crazy about the 2010s is I had this discussion with somebody else on the podcast once, and to this day, I think it's the best point I've ever made. So I always try to bring it up.
Okay.
He was saying, which was also a great point, was that in the 60s, if you went ahead 5 or 10 years and showed them what songs in the 70s sounded like, their heads would explode. If you showed people in the 70s what music would sound like in the 80s, their heads would explode. But he's like, but if you showed people in the 2000s what the 2010s would sound like, it wouldn't be as big of a leap.
Right.
And I think that's true.
Yeah.
However,
that is so true.
My thought was they probably wouldn't be as blown away by the sound quality, but they would probably be very blown away by the accessibility of everyone to be able to make these songs.
Right.
And
I think
technology that's available.
Yeah. I would agree. I think there's like a huge, like the head exploding thing. Like there's like the technical advancement side of that, and then there's kind of like the sound and creativity that kind of like is sparked out of the technical advancement. Like it's just, technology is moving so fast, like almost exponentially, it feels like. So I think that's why, like the past 20 years have just been like, wow. And then like, whoa. And then like even crazier. It's just like every second, every day, it's like something insane is just being like talked about or announced,
It's like moving in hyperspeed.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we went and showed everybody your new album, Junk Drawer by Spuddy, in the 2000s, their heads would explode, rightfully so. So that means
I sure hope so, yeah.
Everybody needs to go check it out right now. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Cohesive, summary, jams. I can't stop listening to it. Yeah, thank you, Spuddy, for coming on. It's been a blast. That's our time on that note. And yeah, man, it's just been a pleasure getting to talk with you about your creative process. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. This has been amazing. Of course, dude. If I'm ever up in Nashville or you're here in Athens, let's grab a beer. Definitely. I will be at some point. So perfect, dude. All right, man. Well, I'll catch you later. All right. See you, man. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.